Hello everyone, once again I am back with the second part of the video tutorial, that is menstrual cycle. In this part we will discuss about the uterine cycle and HPO axis. So uterine cycle, as you all know, it is the cyclic shedding and regrowth of the endometrium of the uterus that takes place every month in the females of reproductive age group. So uterine cycle has been divided into three phases. First is the menstruation phase, and that starts from the first day of the menstrual cycle and lasts for 5 days. Second is the proliferative phase, that starts from the 6th day and lasts for about 14 days. And the third is the secretory phase, that starts from the 15th day and lasts for about 28 days. So first phase is the menstruation phase. So in this phase, as I told you, this phase lasts for about 3 to 5 days, and this is the first days of the menstrual cycle, and this phase starts when pregnancy has not taken place. So as you all know, after ovulation corpus luteum has formed, and when pregnancy doesn't take place, corpus luteum get degenerated and it releases certain inflammatory mediators, prostaglandins and cytokines that causes vasoconstriction of the arterioles, and as a result the level of the hormones drops down, and because of this menstruation starts. So here I want to tell you just some about the endometrium. As you can see in the diagram, the endometrium of the uterus has two main layers. First is the basalis layer and second is the functionalis layer. This basalis layer is attaches with the myometrium, and this basalis layer does not degenerate during the menses. This constitutes covers the only 1/3 part of the endometrium, while the functionalis layer covers the 2/3 part of the endometrium. This basalis layer, and you can see in the diagram, contains the basal arteries, while the functionalis layer contains endometrial glands and the spiral artery. And this functionalis layer sheds only during the menstruation, while basalis layer never sheds. It remains attached to the myometrium, and it is reserved for endometrial regeneration. So this is very important. So during the menses, this functionalis layer sheds off, and as a result the endometrial thickness remains about 1 to 2 mm. Now after the menstruation phase, proliferative phase starts. You can see after the menstruation, proliferative phase. In this phase the main hormone is the estrogen hormone. You can see in this diagram, first is the menstruation phase, then is the proliferative phase, and the main hormone is the estrogen hormone. As I told you that this estrogen hormone, why this is the high level of this hormone, because at the same time in the ovary, follicles are growing and developing, and these follicles release hormone estrogen, and because of this estrogen the proliferation of the endometrium takes place. And one very important point, in the microscopic examination you will see that there are some straight or slightly coiled tubular glands you will see in this phase. So in this phase the main hormone is the estrogen hormone, and the glands of the endometrium are straight or slightly coiled tubular glands, and the thickness of the endometrium in this phase reached up to the 10 to 12 mm. This question has been asked, 10 to 12 mm. And the main predominant hormone in this phase is the estrogen hormone. While now the next is the secretory phase. You can see in the secretory phase, this phase is, as I told you, is the fixed phase. Is does not, the time period of this phase is 14 days always. So in a 28 day cycle, as I told you, ovulation takes place at the 14th day. If the question has been asked in a 32 days cycle, when the ovulation takes place, so always minus 32 minus 14, that is 18th day. So ovulation takes place on the 18th day, always minus 14 days do for the to get the answer of ovulation. So this secretory phase always remains constant, and the main hormone, dominant hormone during this phase is the progesterone, which causes secretory changes in the endometrium. So the first secretory change that takes place in this phase is the early secretory phase, is the subnuclear vacuolation. That means vacuoles start appearing in this phase, and they are filled with glycogen, and this glycogen provide the nutrition to the developing embryo if fertilization takes place. Now the in the late secretory phase, you will see, because of the predominant hormone progesterone, you will see the glands become more spongy, corkscrew shaped glands. Very important, this question has been asked. Corkscrew shaped glands you will see in the late secretory change, and the glands become stromal edema. You will see blood vessels get more tortuous. You can see the tortuous, too much tortuous blood vessels, and the lumens contain the mucus secretion. So the thickness of the endometrium during this phase reached up to the 14 mm. So why this phase is important? Actually, this phase is required to provide the nutrition to the developing embryo if fertilization will takes place. And if fertilization will not take place, the corpus luteum will get degenerated, and the level of the hormones comes down, and again the menstrual phase will starts. Now HPO axis means hypothalamo pituitary ovarian axis. We all must know how this HPO axis controls the menstrual cycle. Any disturbance at the level of the hypothalamus or the pituitary will cause a change in the menstrual cycle, change in the level of hormones, and that ultimately change the menstrual cycle. So we all must know how this HPO axis control the menstrual cycle. Generally, hypothalamus contains GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone neurons, that are present in the arcuate nucleus, and these neurons secrete hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone, and these hormone through the blood vessel comes to the anterior part of the pituitary, and they stimulate the gonadotrope cells that are present in the anterior part of the pituitary. See the diagram carefully. These are present in the anterior part of the pituitary gonadotrope cells, and they get stimulated, and as a result FSH and LH hormones start secreting, and these hormones acts on the ovary, and as a result ovary secretes certain hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. See in this diagram, estrogen and progesterone. These estrogen and progesterone act on the uterus, endometrium, and they ultimately stimulate the pituitary and the hypothalamus, and in this way cycle goes on. So the pituitary, how the pituitary know when the gonadotropin to release? How the pituitary knows? It knows by the feedback signals. See, the feedback signals which are provided by the ovary. See, estrogen is a feedback signal which stimulate or gives the negative feedback effect to the pituitary, and second is the hypothalamus, the signal given by the hypothalamus. So pituitary know only when to secrete gonadotropin by the signals given by the ovary and the hypothalamus. Now, how the hypothalamus know when to secrete GnRH and when not to secrete GnRH? The circulating level of hormones, that is progesterone and estrogen, by the ovary. As I told you, this hypothalamus generally secretes GnRH hormone in a pulsatile manner. These are the pulses, up and down, up and down. These are the pulses, and hypothalamus secrete GnRH in a pulsatile manner. And as I told you, this pulsatile frequency, GnRH pulsatile frequency, is controlled by the circulating level of hormones estrogen and progesterone, which is secreted by the ovary. And these pulses are generally fast during the follicular phase, that happens in the ovarian cycle, and they are slow pulses in the luteal phase. So as a result, the pulses are slow during the luteal phase because of the high level of progesterone. This progesterone gives the negative feedback or effect to the hypothalamus. As a result, the pulses are slow, and that's why there is no new follicular growth during the luteal phase. Very important, there is no new follicular growth takes place during the luteal phase. Now let us understand the HPO axis with the help of graph. As I told you, when fertilization does not take place, corpus luteum, after its normal lifespan of 12 to 14 days, gets degenerated. So drop in level of progesterone causes shedding of endometrium, and that leads to menses. And low level of progesterone and inhibin A gives the positive feedback effect to hypothalamus, causing release of GnRH hormone from hypothalamus and FSH hormone from anterior pituitary. This FSH will rescue some of the follicles in the ovary. As I told you earlier, that first 70 days of development of primordial follicle does not require any GnRH hormone. They are developing and degenerating every month. But when this FSH comes, it rescues some follicle. So some of these follicles will grow further and start releasing estrogen and inhibin B hormone. As the estrogen level rises, it gives the negative feedback effect to pituitary. So FSH level comes down. See in the graph, FSH level is coming down, and around the 7th to 8th day of the menstrual cycle, FSH level comes down. See in the graph. So only one follicle, that is dominant follicle, and which contain maximum FSH receptors, will survive, and the rest follicle will die. This dominant follicle will keep on secreting estrogen hormone. So estrogen level keep on increasing. See in the graph, estrogen level keep on increasing. So estrogen level value in blood becomes more than 200 picogram per ml, or when the estrogen value of estrogen in blood becomes more than 200 picogram per microliter, and it sustained for about 48 hours. This gives the positive feedback effect to pituitary, causing LH surge, which is around 30 to 36 hours before ovulation, or LH peak, which is around 12 to 16 hours before ovulation. Remember, this time period is very important. This has been asked in the exam also. So after the LH peak or LH surge, ovulation takes place. Now, after ovulation, if corpus luteum is formed, so this corpus luteum will start secreting estrogen, progesterone, relaxin and inhibin A hormone. The maximum activity of corpus luteum is around 8th day after the ovulation. See in the graph, 8th day after the ovulation, or progesterone peak. PP means progesterone peak is also around the 8th day after the ovulation. So high level of progesterone and inhibin A gives a negative feedback effect to hypothalamus. So LH level comes down. See in the graph, LH level comes down, and also the FSH level remains low in this phase. So as a result, there will be no new follicular growth in this phase. Now, if fertilization does not take place, then corpus luteum will die. Progesterone level comes down. See in the graph, progesterone level is coming down, and the menses starts again. See, this low level of progesterone gives the positive feedback effect to the hypothalamus. So level of FSH rises again. See in the graph, FSH is rising, and new cycle begins. So proper coordination of hypothalamus, pituitary and ovary is important for a regular cycle. Any disturbance at the level of mind causes change in the level of hormones, and as a result, menstrual cycle will be disturbed.